Welcoming you to a life of awareness, the Presence Projects is excited for you to join us for today's podcast with your host, Paul Kersner.
Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Are You Being Present? My name is Paul Kersner. I want to welcome you to the present moment. I want to welcome you to the here and now. And I want to thank you wholeheartedly for joining us today. The topic for today's podcast is juicing for presence. And I want to welcome and introduce our guest host, Parul Agrawal. She is an international best-selling author, a wellness coach, and a medicinal juicing instructor. Before I bring her on the podcast, I just want to touch upon my experiences with juicing. I've been juicing for the past 6 years. I consider it an instrumental way to start my day. For all of the patients that I work with, I always talk about juicing as I believe it's the best way, it's the best breakfast that we can have. I provide a juicing prescription, and I really wouldn't start my day any other way. When I first got in touch with Parul, I was really interested to understand more about juicing, and I thought it would be a really helpful topic for my patients, for my listeners, to understand how juicing can be used to help bring us into the present moment. So Parul, I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you for having me here.
Very good. I was hoping that you could spend a little bit of time talking about who you are, what you've been up to, and some of the projects that you're working on.
So, as you mentioned in my intro, I'm an international best-selling author of my book, Juicing for Healthier Families. I'm a wellness and wealth coach, essentially a success coach for moms. And apart from, offering wellness coaching and detox plans and cleanses, my whole goal is to empower moms to rule the web. And everything comes together, whether it's business or whether it's wellness, because we are not able to think really well in what we are doing if we do not have a clear mind. So cleansing, juicing, detoxing works perfectly in having a business or being successful as an entrepreneur or a mom entrepreneur. So those are some of the projects that I keep working on. My latest project is a community book for moms, by moms. So moms from all across the globe are coming together and talking about their experiences, their fears, their challenges as they try to raise a health-conscious, spiritually conscious kid in this society.
That's very interesting. So how did you get involved in juicing?
My juicing journey started actually pretty much like anybody else's juicing journey. I wanted to lose weight after I had my child. All the baby weight, I wanted to lose that weight. And I wanted to do it the right way. So essentially, getting all the good nutrition in my body instead of going on a diet, because I was also nursing my child at that point of time. Plus, the more and more I read, I came to the conclusion that you could actually cultivate healthy eating habits in your kids if you start early. So I thought, if I start juicing or if I start feeding my body with the good nutrition, effectively it's going to my son through breast milk, and that would be a really great start for him. So it's all started because of that. And I am actually very proud to say now he's 5 years old, and he is not a picky eater at all. In fact, he really likes his green vegetables and green juices, and I believe it's all because we started really early with him.
So aside from the benefits to your child, what kind of benefits have you seen for yourself when you started juicing?
Obviously, the number one benefit was weight loss and getting all that good nutrition. I was also very active because I was providing all this live nutrition into my body. Juicing is live nutrition because essentially it's raw. There's no heat involved in the process. And when you're feeding all this live nutrition into your body, you are actually becoming live because of all the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that are going inside your body. I started feeling more energetic. I was not tired. I was more happy. I was more conscious of the things, more aware of the things that are going around me. And I just started, as you mentioned earlier, getting juice into my breakfast. But sooner or later, I would say eventually it became a part of my being, because after having a glass of juice, I would feel so live and so energetic. I was also able to get rid of my coffee addiction in the morning because I was not relying on coffee to wake me up. I had a glass of green juice. My skin obviously looked better, my hair looked better, but those were all the byproducts of juicing, I would say.
And when I first start treating patients at my clinic, one of the things that I hone in on is nutrition. And an analogy that I like to use and I talk about often is that our bodies are like high-performance vehicles. Mm-hmm. They're like Porsches or Lamborghinis. You can't take a high-performance vehicle to the gas station and give it, lower octane fuel. You have to give it the best fuel possible. Juicing, especially juicing organics, is like giving your body that 93 octane. It's like giving your body all the nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that it needs, that it wants, so that it can perform at its peak. And as it's performing at its peak, it allows the person who's taking in the juice to have their system nice and clean first and foremost, so their body isn't using extra resources to clean out all the toxins, but it allows for presence.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that I'd like to talk about a little bit, is how juicing allows people to be more present.
That's a really great question, Paul. And juicing, as you just mentioned, it's live, it is like the highest octane nutrition. I call it nutritional powerhouse in a glass. And also because you're juicing all these fruits and vegetables, it's really hydrating to your system. If a person is hydrated and not dehydrated, he's not constipated. So basically, his system is working well. He's not clogged. He's not really backed up in his system, in his intestines. More and more research shows us, our health lies in our gut. If you're juicing, your gut health is clean. So you're able to remove all those toxins from your body. Once you remove all those toxins from your body, you have a clearer thinking. You're able to think better. Most of the people who start juicing, even if it's like 1 glass per day, they have actually told me personally that they're able to think better. They're more present. They're not actually thinking about their future or their past for that matter. All they are concerned about is the now. And it's all because there are no parasites in your system which are sending all these signals to your brain to grab that muffin, to grab that cookie, to, eat a carb-loaded pasta. You're not actually thinking about food all the time. You're not getting any negative thoughts in your brain. And so you are becoming more spiritual. You're becoming more present. All you're thinking about is that particular moment. In fact, there is a institute which is called the Spiritual Science Research Foundation. I believe it's based out of India, and they have done research on juicing. And what they have found is that because everything, whatever we eat, whatever we drink, the environment we live in affects our spiritual centers, which essentially means our chakras. And with juicing, those spiritual centers or chakras open. Specifically the heart chakra, the brain chakra, and even your back chakra, the spine chakra, they open with juicing. They did experiments. They actually kept a glass of juice, like fresh, raw juice, and then they also kept a glass of juice which was like a packaged juice. And they did Kirlian photography. I'm sure you have heard about it. They actually tested the vibrations around the glass. And they found that not only the juice was positive, especially the raw organic juice that was prepared fresh, the environment near the juice, the entire surroundings, the room also had positive vibrations. So if you are drinking, just imagine this juice which has all these positive vibrations, you have to feel positive. There is no reason why you have all these negative thoughts in your subconscious. In fact, most of the people who go on a juice cleanse or a juice detox, they feel free because they feel that they're not bound by the food, because through generations we have been told that we need food to survive. But now they feel that if the food that they have been so attached to is taken away from them, they become humble. They realize that only a spiritual power, a higher power, or God, whatever they call it, is helping them survive those days or that moment. They are more in tune to their body. They become closer to that higher power or God, and they become more present because they are so much within and not affected by the outly world issues.
I think it's an important topic to kind of hone in on. If all juicing does is clean out your intestinal tract, that's a great start. We have too many people walking around right now carrying way too many toxins inside their system that are just stuck. And there's no way that you can feel good if you're constipated at all. So what I noticed when I first started juicing was that I became more regular, and that's actually something that a lot of my patients report too. It's almost like an empty feeling.
Right.
And when you get to that empty feeling, it's almost euphoric that you're completely clean. What I also notice in the morning is when I juice, especially first thing, that it keeps me full for more than half the day. No longer do I have those cravings that I have to eat lunch. I rarely eat till dinner. I mean, that's how full juice keeps me, and it actually is a great source of energy. So when I have people come to my clinic for treatment and I see that they're drinking coffee in the morning or they need 5-hour energy drinks or whatever it is, I tell them, and I just sum it up. I say, look, just start juicing. Okay, it's a process, but you don't need these things to prop you up anymore. If anything, they're just distractions. Juice has had a tremendous effect on my health and well-being. It also helps me be more clear throughout the day, and that's really important, which also leads me to be more present. You touched upon juice fasts, and I know that here and there we go through these fads in our society where juice fasts are popular, juice fasts are not. I do see some merit for it. I think it would be helpful to kind of explain some of the benefits and what a juice fast actually entails.
Absolutely. And that is the biggest misconception of people, that it's a diet or a fad or, it's not necessarily. I call it actually a way of life. And people who get into it, they consider it as a way of life, and they are like continuously detoxing. Because, Paul, no matter how clean we are eating, there are toxins in the environment, there are toxins in the air we breathe, in the water we drink. And therefore, we need to cleanse our bodies on a regular basis, even though our cleansing organs are doing the job for us, but it doesn't really harm to do an extra bit of cleanse. So in a juice fast, essentially, what you would do is do juices. And it doesn't really necessarily mean you have to do a juice fast for 3 months straight, even though I know somebody who did it for 300 days. That's really extreme. But I normally tell people, start with 1 day and see how you feel. If you're able to sustain it for 1 day, try it on another day, and maybe 3 days is ideal because it takes 3 days for your body to change from acidic to alkaline. And the most important thing during a juice fast is how you get on the fast and how you get off the fast. So some people, they think that, okay, tomorrow I'm going on a juice fast and today I have my last meal or something. So that ideally would actually do more harm than good to your body. So you actually essentially need to ease into a juice fast. So start eating healthy and cutting down on processed foods a week before you get into the juice fast. And a day or two before the juice fast, you essentially drink maybe more smoothies, more soups, and more salads, and try to cut down on all the cooked foods. Then on the day of the juice fast, you're supposed to drink juices pretty much every hour or every 2 hours based on your hunger. Ideally, Dr. Norman Walker, who is the pioneer of juicing in US, he brought juicing to US in the 70s or even earlier than that. He recommends drinking 16 ounces or a pint every 2 hours based on your caloric intake. And the idea is the more you drink, the sooner you'll see the benefits. So you do the juice fast pretty much the entire day, or maybe 2 days or 3 days. And then when you have to wean out of the juice fast, you again start with smoothies and fruits and foods that are actually easier on your system. I would stay away from vegetables as such, because vegetables could be really heavy to digest for some people, but fruits are easy and they're more hydrating to your body. And then, eventually start eating more of cooked foods and stuff. And juice fast is essentially the time when people actually get that spiritual awakening. And this is not new, people have been doing this for generations, for eras. Actually, this has been a ritual in almost all religions, and most of the world leaders, philosophers, spiritual gurus, they used to go on a juice fast if they have to make, or when they have to make a tough decision. And you can actually read about any biography, maybe Mahatma Gandhi, Dalai Lama, Martin King Luther, and even our new age leaders. They all believe in cleansing their body from the inside out so that they have a clearer mind. They are not making decisions based on any preconceived notions or preconceived thoughts. And juice fast is an ideal way to do that.
It's helpful that people understand that with a juice fast, there's no definitive way of doing it. It could be for 1 day, 2 days, but I think the recommendations that you just provided are helpful. So the way you want to start the juice fast leading into it and the way you want to leave it, that's good to know. I'm not sure that kind of information is disseminated enough. I know that you've written a book, Juicing for Healthier Families, and I think that it would be a good idea maybe to just touch upon what your book entails and who it's really geared for.
Juicing for Healthier Families, as the name suggests, is geared towards families. And the whole idea came up because I offer these juicing workshops, for families. And I definitely believe that kids are so important for our future. And if we start them young, they will become more conscious adults, at least, even if they waver from their diet plan, or even if they get, affected by the outwardly things, they will come back because, these things or this knowledge has been inculcated in them as when they were young or as a kid. So my whole focus area was families, and essentially busy families. So I made it really easy to read in a question and answer format. Most of the questions that people would come up with during my workshops or during my talks. The book also has recipes, 52 recipes. I call it try a new recipe every week for the next 52 weeks, which gives you a year. So basically, recipes for families, recipes for pregnant moms, recipes for kids, recipes for busy parents, because life is getting busier and busier day by day, and therefore we need something, and juicing is perfect because I call it nutritional powerhouse in a glass, to get over any of the issues that you are having basically in your life. Sometimes people think that juicing is really time consuming. Actually, it's not really time consuming if you plan ahead, and it's way faster and way quicker than cooking. All you need to do is buy your vegetables, wash them, cut them, and juice them. That's it. 3 easy steps. So simple, effective ways to get nutrition into your diet.
It really depends on the kind of juicer you have too. If you have a
Yes.
cold press juicer, you can actually juice and then keep it in the fridge for 72 hours.
Absolutely, yes.
If you have a high-speed blender like a Vitamix or a Blendtec, you can make, juice smoothies, and those can also sit in the fridge for a little while. So, do your homework before you buy your juicer. Think about how you're going to use it. I know some of the lower end ones, you have to drink the juice right away. It doesn't sit well. So it's always important to kind of think about and plan on how you're going to go about juicing. One of the topics that I talk to my patients about is the difference between juicing fruits and vegetables. By and large, and I know some of your recipes probably include fruits, but I really stand by the fact, or at least the saying, that we eat our fruits and juice our vegetables. Mm-hmm. It's not a hard, fast rule, But one of the reasons that I believe it to be so is that when we juice our fruits, we extract fructose and we set aside the fiber. The fiber, when you're eating fruit, actually the fiber helps to slow our body's ability to break down the fructose.
Correct.
So I always like to share that, and I wanted to kind of take a second to kind of let people know that you can juice fruits, but I always recommend, trying to juice more vegetables than fruits.
Ideally, in juices, the ratio should be 80 to 90% vegetables and 10% fruits. And I really like pineapple. If you're, juicing pineapple because it's high in juice, it's also really sweet. So pineapple is a great addition to your juices, especially if you're new to juicing, because you will taste the pineapple, but you'll get all the benefits from your greens. And also beets, because beet actually would change the color of your juice from green to red, even if you're adding a quarter piece of beet. So people who are appalled by the taste or color of greens, then it's a great addition, pineapple and beetroot, for these people to get them started off with juicing, because that is the first thing that people say, oh, I don't like green color, or I don't like how my vegetables taste. And you can always add herbs like mint or maybe cilantro, parsley, lemon to change the taste and flavor of your juices. And just, quickly pointing out on that fiber aspect, because juices do not have any fiber or very little fiber, most of the nutrition is assimilated by your body within 20 minutes of drinking the juice. And that is way faster than actually any supplement out there. So people who believe that, they need a supplement or a multivitamin for their life, they would actually be benefited from juices, because not only they are getting a certain vitamin, but they're also getting minerals, phytonutrients, and antioxidants, which they cannot find in any supplement out there.
Yeah, and all the more reason to look at juice as medicine more than anything. That's kind of the way I look at it, is every morning I have to take my medicine, I have to make my juice prescription, and I think that that's a really healthy way, because juicing vegetables, fruits, all these things were medicine before there was medicine.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And that's
yes.
kind of where we need to be headed back to. I just want to take this moment to address the audience. If you're starting your process, learning how to be a little more present, or if you're struggling to stay in the here and now, you have to take your diet into consideration. It's quintessential. What you eat, really equates to how you feel. Juicing should be the foundation of your diet. It should be the way you start your day. So if you really are serious about being present, if you really are serious about making some significant life changes, I can think of no better thing to start implementing than a juice program for yourself. It's not going to cost a lot of money. You can find cheaper juicers on Amazon. Don't make excuses for yourself. This can be a game changer, and I want to be really clear about that. Juicing has had a tremendous effect on my presence, and I've seen firsthand with many of the patients that I work with, once they start juicing, so many things change for them. All of a sudden, they have this level of clarity that they've never had before, and sometimes they don't know why, and it doesn't really matter why. I mean, if you're being present, you're being present, and that's the most important part.
True.
So, Parul, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I want to give you this opportunity to share some information about how people can get in touch with you.
Sure. And before I talk about that, I just figured out there is a juicer company based out in Canada, and they have a masticating juicer under $100. So it's called Bella, Bella. So people who really do not want to invest like $300 in a masticating juicer, they could check out Bella. And from what I know, the company has a really good customer service. So if anything goes wrong, they will send you the bat. So I just wanted to mention that too, because I'm really excited that you could actually afford juicing so much more now. And they could actually find me on my website, which is my name, parulagrawal.com. And I'm also on social media as author Parul. So on Twitter, Facebook, pretty much anywhere, I'm everywhere as author Parul.
Perfect. Well, Parul, thank you for joining us. I want to thank everyone for listening, and I want to welcome everyone to the present moment.
Thank you for listening to the Are You Being Present podcast, brought to you by the Presence Projects. Remember, you have a choice. Choose to be present.